2 thing. I don't know if it's going to be 4 or 5. But anyway. I'm happy to report that I've done my first halfway productive day at work, working on VSO2, and everything is basically done using XML, and what do you call it? I've been toiling to do a web service call to check if an entity exists. If it doesn't, then create it. And then for these 2 calls, plus finding out the responses, finding out the pattern or the flow that the bus operates in, it has taken me a whole day. And it's, let's say, for an uninitiated person, it's tremendously slow. Other thing I've now taken into a habit is to ride the public transport to work. So I cycle from here to Myyrmanni or Myyrmäki. I don't know what I think the station name is Myyrmäki, and the shopping center is Myyrmanni. But anyway, I go there in the morning, and I try to make the 7:50 train. Then I'm one of the first at work, but I can manage with the 8:10 train, so 8:10. But yeah, that's a short, just under 4 kilometers the ride, and then I jump on the train. Nobody has ever complained about my bike. I take it with me. There's a lot of what do you call it, Muslims on the train, at least women. Of the men, you really don't know. They dress, or the fanatic ones, I guess they have a certain attire that they wear, but normal ones don't. But anyway, there's a lot of women there, and I'm taking up the habit of reading on the train. So from Myyrmäki to Central Rail Station, I read a book. And today's reading was a gift from my second cousin. It's a new Bible translation in Finnish. It's made by, let me see, and apparently it has this is Suomen tunnustuksellinen luterilainen kirkko 2017. So this is translated and printed last year. And it's supposed to be a better translation. But, you know, I know that the new Finnish translation, it has certain issues. But this one, I haven't looked into it in tremendous detail. But now, this is what I'm reading on the train, and I'm kind of hoping that I will strike up a conversation, because what do you call it? A couple of teachings that I've heard that Western society, it's blasé about Christianity or God, whereas Muslims, they're kind of into God more than we. So, and they're willing to have this dialogue. So I'm hoping that I can have one, then that I could speak God's truth in in a halfway intelligible manner. But anyway, and the thing is, I read the Bible every morning. I read, how do I say? I'd say I read 1 to, well, if it's Psalms, then I read 4 passages of Psalms, but if it's a long, then I read just 1 passage. Or then there's a long Psalm, 90, is it 93? It's several pages. So a couple of passages, or luku, chapter. I read a couple of chapters of the Old Testament and a couple of chapters of the New Testament, and every morning. So this I normally do drinking my morning coffee, but now that I have the Bible with me, I can what do you call it? I can just skim over Helsinki Sanomat and jump onto the train and get going and read my Bible on the train. The only thing that I'm a bit embarrassed, I normally read my Bible out aloud because I think it's a book meant to be read out loud, and at home I read it out loud. I know that Terhi sometimes, she asked me that I could make it vocal so that she could hear it. But I haven't gathered the nerve, or that would be unfathomable to me, to blast out the Bible in the train. Then I take, when I end up in Helsinki, then it's a short distance, but I notice if I walk a lot, then my walking gets affected. So what I do is I cycle. It's only, I'd say, 200 meters from the train to the tube station, but I choose to cycle it, and doing it in a crowd of people, it's a bit tricky, but I manage. Then down into the tube, and the tube, there's 2 types of trains. There's an old train and a new train, and the new train has specific locations where you can put your bike, but the old train, you just go in any door and you try and avoid people with your bicycle. And then it's up from there to Ruoholahti, the metro station. So it's 2 stops, Kamppi and then Ruoholahti. I get off. Then it's actually Kauppakeskus Ruoholahti. So in the previous video, or one of the videos, I drove into the Kauppakeskus. Now I'm coming from the opposite side, from the tube station, and I go into the same shopping center, and the elevators are inside the shopping center, and I take the elevator. Well, first I lock my bike, and I forgot the lock today. Sorry, I didn't forget the lock because the lock's locked there, but I forgot my keys. So I couldn't lock my bike, so I took it up to the office, and nobody said anything. So I had the bike in the office the whole day, so that it didn't get stolen. And yeah, first productive day, and then I cycled home. I've now taken the habit. I've cycled Friday, Monday, and today, which is Tuesday. I've cycled all the way from work to home. It's about 15 kilometers, and I noticed that on the Friday I was absolutely horrible. I was just trembling on my bike. I barely could manage. Tuesday was a good day. I got close to 20 kilometers an hour, which is yippee for me at the moment. I think it was 19 point something. But anyway, it's an achievement for me. But then today I cycled. I was feeling all right when I started, but then there was stupid of me. I decided that there was a competition, and it seemed like a competition, and I cycled, and I somebody corrected me about how I say exhort. Anyway, when you push yourself too far, and then the whole rest of the distance home, I was shaky, and I could notice that, because the same hills that I could climb with a specific gear, I now had to choose a lighter or a smaller gear to get up them, and there's something that has come with the illness, is that I cannot press myself, or my condition deteriorates. It seems like a kind of steady is good, but I'm interested to see how this affects tomorrow, because one thing that I've found with the disease is that for example, my left arm, I talked about it being tremendously strong, and I'm doing kettlebell exercises with it. And or I don't know if it's a kettlebell or a kettlebell. I think it's a kettlebell, because there's no sense. I don't know, kettlebell. Well, anyway. So, now, oh yeah, this is another thing that happened. There's a second Mac of the same spec as this one, that this has happened to me. I don't know if you see this. It's all curved up, the Mac, and there's the mouse. It doesn't recognize anything. You can't press it. It's just horrid. But anyway, this is a long winding video. Work, cycling, and Bible reading. There was 3 topics instead of 2. But anyway, Jesus Christ is King. Amen.